The rift between Prince Harry and Prince William, once inseparable brothers, has become one of the most compelling and divisive royal narratives of our time. This fraternal feud, which has played out both behind palace walls and in the glare of the global media spotlight, has captivated audiences worldwide and raised profound questions about the future of the British monarchy. To truly understand the depth and complexity of this conflict, we must delve into their shared history, examine the key events that led to their estrangement, and consider the wider implications for the royal family and the institution they represent. The story of Harry and William's relationship begins long before their current estrangement. Born into the most famous family in Britain, the princes shared a unique bond from the start. As the sons of Prince Charles and Princess Diana, they were thrust into the public eye from birth, their every milestone scrutinized and celebrated by a fascinated public. Their early years were marked by the fairy tale image of the young royal family, with Diana working hard to give her sons as normal a childhood as possible within the confines of their extraordinary circumstances. However, the breakdown of Charles and Diana's marriage cast a long shadow over the prince's childhood. The public acrimony between their parents, played out in tabloid headlines and tell-all interviews, undoubtedly had a profound impact on both boys. This tumultuous period culminated in the tragic death of Princess Diana in 1997, when William was 15 and Harry just 12. The sight of the two young princes walking behind their mother's coffin, heads bowed under the weight of public grief and their own private sorrow, became an indelible image of vulnerability and shared pain. In the wake of this tragedy, William and Harry's bond seemed to strengthen. They became each other's support system, navigating the challenges of royal life and the lingering trauma of their loss together. Their public appearances were marked by an easy camaraderie, with Harry often playing the role of the mischievous younger brother to William's more serious heir apparent. This dynamic endeared them to the public, who saw in their relationship echoes of Diana's warmth and relatability. As they entered adulthood, both princes embarked on military careers, another shared experience that seemed to reinforce their connection. They supported each other through their respective deployments, with Harry serving 2 tours in Afghanistan. During this period, they also began to take on more prominent roles within the royal family, often appearing together at official events and collaborating on charitable initiatives. The first signs of divergence in their paths became apparent as they entered their late 20s and early 30s. William, as the future king, began to take on more responsibilities in preparation for his eventual ascension to the throne. He married Kate Middleton in 2011, settling into family life and his role as a senior royal. Harry, meanwhile, seemed to struggle more with finding his place within the royal framework. His wilder exploits made headlines, and he openly discussed his difficulties in coming to terms with his mother's death and his role as the spare to the heir. The arrival of Meghan Markle in Harry's life in 2016 marked a significant turning point in the brothers' relationship. Initially, William and Kate welcomed Meghan warmly, with the two couples dubbed the Fab Four by the media. However, reports soon began to circulate of tensions between the brothers and their wives. Some sources suggested that William had expressed concerns about the speed of Harry's relationship with Meghan, advice that Harry reportedly took as a slight against his fiancée. The rift began to widen following Harry and Meghan's wedding in 2018. Behind the scenes, there were rumors of disagreements over everything from living arrangements to the allocation of royal duties. The decision to split the royal households, with Harry and Meghan moving their offices from Kensington Palace to Buckingham Palace, was seen by many as a sign of growing distance between the brothers. The situation reached a crisis point in January 2020 when Harry and Meghan announced their decision to step back as senior royals. This move, which caught the royal family and the public by surprise, was a seismic shift in the modern monarchy. William, as the future king, was reportedly deeply hurt and angry at what he saw as Harry's abdication of duty and the manner in which the announcement was made. In the aftermath of Brexit, the brothers' relationship deteriorated further. Harry and Meghan's move to North America and their subsequent interviews, particularly their explosive sit-down with Oprah Winfrey in March 2021, drove an even deeper wedge between them. In the interview, Harry and Meghan made allegations of racism within the royal family and claimed the lack of support for Meghan's mental health struggles. These public revelations deeply wounded William, who found himself in the uncomfortable position of having to defend the monarchy against his own brother's accusations. The tension reached new heights with the release of Harry's memoir, Spare, in January 2023. In the book, Harry made a series of startling claims about his relationship with William, including an allegation of a physical altercation between them. This revelation sent shockwaves through royal watchers and the general public alike, painting a picture of a deeply fractured relationship far removed from the image of brotherly unity that had been carefully cultivated over the years. The impact of this feud extends far beyond the personal relationship between Harry and William. It has placed immense strain on the entire royal family, particularly their father, King Charles III, who finds himself torn between his two sons and his duty to the crown. The conflict has also raised questions about the future of the monarchy, with some wondering how the institution will adapt to changing times and family dynamics. Public opinion on the feud has been sharply divided. Some sympathize with Harry's desire for a life away from the constraints of royal duty and his efforts to protect his wife and children from what he perceives as a toxic environment. Others view his actions as a betrayal of his family and his responsibilities as a prince. William, for his part, has largely maintained a dignified silence on the matter, focusing instead on his royal duties and preparing for his future role as king. The rift has also had significant implications for the next generation of royals. William's children, particularly Prince George, who is second in line to the throne, are growing up with limited contact with their uncle, aunt, and cousins. This separation could have long-lasting effects on the dynamics of the royal family for years to come. Despite the current state of their relationship, many royal observers and members of the public hold out hope for a reconciliation between Harry and William. The bond between brothers, especially one forged through shared tragedy and unique experiences, is not easily broken. There is a sense that if they can find a way to bridge their differences, it could lead to a stronger, more modern monarchy. However, the path to reconciliation is fraught with challenges. The physical distance between them, with Harry residing in California and William in the UK, adds another layer of complexity to any potential healing efforts. The public nature of their feud, played out in interviews, books, and endless media speculation, has created a narrative that may be difficult to move past. As the story continues to unfold, both princes are forging ahead on their separate paths. William, as the future king, remains focused on his royal duties and preparing for the role he will one day inherit. He has taken on an increasingly prominent role in royal affairs, particularly in the wake of Queen Elizabeth II's passing and his father's ascension to the throne. His approach to royalty seems to be one of continuity and tradition, albeit with a modern touch. Harry, from his new life in America, continues to advocate for causes close to his heart while building a life outside the royal fold. He has embraced his role as a private citizen, signing deals with media companies and speaking out on issues such as mental health and climate change. His approach seems to be one of reinvention, seeking to create a new kind of public role that allows him to effect change without the constraints of royal protocol. The ongoing saga of Harry and William's relationship serves as a poignant reminder of the complexities of family relationships, especially when played out on a global stage. It highlights the challenges of balancing personal desires with public duty and the weight of expectations placed on those born into extraordinary circumstances. As the world continues to watch this royal drama unfold, it's clear that the story of Harry and William is far from over. Whether they find a way to reconcile or continue on their separate paths, their relationship will undoubtedly continue to fascinate and influence public perception of the monarchy for years to come. The hope remains that these two brothers, once inseparable, might find a way back to each other, not just for their own sakes, but for the future of the institution they were born to serve.